welcome back to MUSE TV. I'm Samantha Aguilar, and I'm going to give you guys a little rundown on some of the films that I got to watch this 2020 Toronto International Film Festival season. Today we're talking about One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King. Now, this is her first directorial debut. This film basically follows four iconic Black personalities. Cassius Clay, played by Eli Goree, Sam Cooke, played by Leslie Odom Jr., Jim Brown, played by Aldis Hodge, and Malcolm X, played by Kingsley Ben Adir. So the movie, just like the title, follows Cassius Clay, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown after Cassius wins the World Heavyweight Championship, and they meet up in Miami at a motel, and they basically celebrate the victory. So I know what you're thinking, like, he's probably having this huge celebration. This is 1964. So unfortunately, being a Black man in 1964, there are not a lot of things you can do. And of course, when you're walking around with Malcolm X, you are very, very much limited as to what you can do. Now, for all of these characters in this film, they are battling their own internal battles as they live in an unequal society where they are seen as less and they are not given the same opportunities. The film does a really good job at portraying the internal conflicts of these four iconic men. These are singers, songwriters, producers, world weight heavy champions, football stars, activists. This is the biggest message of the film: is you can be as successful as you are and still be Black, and at the end of the day, that's gonna be the thing that is gonna be seen more than anything. And you're still gonna be followed by all this injustice and systematic racism and inequality. And throughout the night, they're heavily debating their place in society. Now, for Malcolm X, at the time, like I said, he was seen as a terrorist, and that's heavily depicted in the film. So for Malcolm X, as an activist, as vocal as he was in danger for having all these ideas that had never really been heard before. And at the time were very, very, very radical. For Sam Cooke, he was an incredible singer, songwriter, but he still had to prove himself. He was still a Black entertainer, and at the end of the day, Black is more important than entertainer. We do see Sam Cooke struggle to keep an audience because he's Black, and the audience does not want to sit there and watch Sam Cooke. For Sam Cooke at the beginning, it's never a matter of how much attention he's able to get or how much credibility he's given. It's more of like, well, I'm successful and I have money and I've made it, and that's what matters. As the film progresses, he does kind of come to the conclusion of, okay, maybe I should be more active, maybe I should be more vocal, maybe I shouldn't let all these societal norms be norms, maybe I should challenge these things, and maybe I shouldn't just conform to the situation that I'm living in. For Jim Brown, an incredible football player, he's almost on the same boat, where he is successful and he is an athlete and people love to watch him, but at the end of the day, he's still a Black man. People only love him for what he can do, for the entertainment aspects that he brings. And he also is trying to figure out his role in society. He's exploring acting, and same thing, he's kind of stuck in this point where he's like, okay, well, can I take another path and can I be successful, or am I only good as an athlete and only an athlete? And his internal battle is, am I gonna be successful doing a completely different thing that is so out of my norm? Are people going to accept my transition into acting? For Cassius Clay, it's a little more personable, actually. If you didn't know, Cassius Clay is Muhammad Ali. So during this film, it really does follow his process transitioning into the Muslim culture. And as I said before, this Muslim culture is not something people want to associate with. Actually, throughout the film, Jim Brown and Sam Cooke are heavily encouraging him to step away and to not fully transition into the Muslim culture. And of course, Malcolm X is very much the one helping him transition. So we watch as he kind of keeps it very low-key at the beginning, that he's associated with the culture, and then slowly he kind of has to accept, like, This is what comes with accepting the culture. Throughout the film, actually all of the men kind of pick at each other, pick at their situations. Malcolm X, being as active and as vocal as he was, heavily picked on a lot of the characters because he didn't feel like they were challenging society enough. He didn't like that they conformed to the societal expectations and the societal norms at the time. A lot of the times he just didn't understand why the characters didn't do more to be vocal, didn't do more to help themselves get out of this situation. And so it's a lot of reflecting on everyone's part. Who am I and what's my duty in the world? And I just think it's so timely right now. This is a film that we all can probably connect with right now. We are still living in a time where Black artists, Black entertainers, Black performers, Black athletes are still being paid less, are still not being as appreciated, are not getting all of the recognition all the time. We see that today, and we see that in 1964. It's something that we're still battling with, and I think that's why it's so important to have a story like this out. Although I do feel like the film is slow, it does really just follow these 4 characters as they spend one night in Miami, and the film is basically just, them figuring out who they are, figuring out who they want to be. So although the film and the storyline isn't fast-paced, it isn't super active, it definitely dives deep into these problems and how it heavily reflects our world right now. So that's why I did enjoy this film. Although I will say it is lengthy and it is slow, it dives deep into these issues that we are obviously still seeing today. And I think that's why this is an important film to watch. I think it also helps us reflect on who we are, what our place is in society. Do we want to challenge norms? Do we not want to challenge norms? I think this film also helps us reflect on the societal norms that we have today. But I think now is definitely the time. We've seen society being challenged the most. And I think that's why this film works so well, because the story is so relevant to our times. And it's something that we're seeing today. But yes, let me know what you think about this film. Let me know if you're interested at all in watching it. The actors did an amazing job portraying each character and really just kind of telling their story to the fullest intent that they can. Like I said, it really does just follow one night of these characters interacting in Miami. So there's only so much that you get to learn about these characters, but let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below, like, subscribe. Again, I'm Samantha Aguilar, and thank you guys so much for watching MUSE TV.